Welcome to the Besties podcast on Besties Radio.
My name is Crystal Irvin, and you are listening to the Besties podcast on Besties Radio every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Whenever I need motivation or encouragement, I tune in to Besties, the podcast.
Whenever I need motivation or encouragement, I listen to the Besties podcast on Besties Radio every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Besties, the podcast. Today we have a special treat. We have two celebrity hairstylists. We have Miss Michelle Nicole, the hair artist, and we have Kenesha Tillman. She is the owner of Tutus and Tennis Shoes. So we're going to start with Michelle. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and what you have going on right now. No, you're still muted.
Oh, there we are.
There you go.
Hi, ladies. I am Michelle Nicole, the hair artist. I am owner of Bouncing and Behaving Hair Studio, home of the Bouncedolls. We have been open for 15 years now in the same location. Our salon focuses on healthy hair care. We offer extensions and weaves and all types of things that you would be looking for your hair, natural hair as well. But the base and the foundation of the salon is just kind of giving women somewhere to feel at home, and healthy hair is number one. I also have a background in editorial fashion, working with New York Fashion Week and traveling and doing hair different places also.
Girl, she does Fashion Week. Like, come on, don't even try.
Okay, New York Fashion
Supermodel.
Yeah, like big yourself up, girl.
I've traveled the world. And also right now I am about to launch a silk pillowcase line, 100% mulberry silk, and it's just amazing for your hair, for when you sleep, for your hair, your skin, and it also gives you the best sleep ever.
That's awesome. Kenesha, tell us about yourself and your business.
Hey, you all. So my name is Kenesha Tillman. I'm the owner of Tutus and Tennis Shoes. Tutus and Tennis Shoes is a hair care education company, and I specialize in helping transracial adoptive parents learn how to take care of Black hair. And I focus mostly on educating about healthy hair. And of course, we go over some of the basic stylings, but my main concern is healthy hair and then getting them to understand the cultural difference and how important it is in our community. So that's what I do.
Awesome. So I invited you to because you guys are awesome. You're doing something different. You're trailblazers, trendsetters. So how did you guys get started? Either whoever wants to start. How did you get started? Did you go to cosmetology school? Did you, were you self-taught? What made you set you on this path to greatness?
Okay. So for me, I just always kind of was passionate about doing hair, like as a child. Like that was the only thing I really wanted to do. I don't think I thought that I would just do hair right away, but that's what I ended up doing. I went straight from high school to hair school, and I worked for different salons and different business owners before I opened my own. What made me open the salon was because I worked in a salon that ended up closing, and I wanted an upscale feeling for this, like in the salon. I wanted to work somewhere that felt like amazing, like people that I always wanted to go to work. But I wanted it to be in West Philadelphia, the area where I grew up. And I just didn't feel like women should have to leave their neighborhood to get quality services. So that's what made me open the salon. I didn't feel like it existed because I searched and searched for somewhere to work. And that's what prompted me to open Bouncedolls. After that, I started working. I started getting a little bored, probably like 10 years in, maybe. And I was trying to figure out what to do next. What was my next move? And that's actually when Khadijah and I worked together, and she told me about Philly Fashion Week. And I tried out for the team, and working backstage was just everything for me. And that's where I felt like I just loved the rush. And it was like the one thing that was missing from doing hair behind the chair every day. Um, so that kind of gave me my launch into working with, I think after that, that's when I said, but I want to work with celebrities. And it literally was more of a manifestation. It was like I just was ready for it. And it literally just started falling from the sky. Like, that was pretty dope.
Yes, it was. Kenisha, your business is pretty unique. You don't see too many people doing what you're doing, the niche that you're in. So how did you get started?
So what's interesting is when I went to cosmetology school, and I went while I was pregnant with my son. Before I was pregnant with him, I had been a light and sound technician, and I started working in theater at about 14, although I'd always been backstage because my mom was always backstage as a seamstress. So when I was pregnant with my son, I was like, oh crap, I can't climb ladders and hang lights anymore. Like, what am I gonna do? And my grandma was a cosmetologist, and she had started teaching me, but I was hard-headed. So, I learned how to do some things, but it wasn't like one of those things where I was like, yes, I want to do it. Well, then when I was pregnant with my son, I looked up what careers are recession proof, and barbering and cosmetology was closer to the top of the list. And I was like, well, if grandma made it with all her kids and all them husbands with cosmetology, I can do it. I can definitely do it now. And it's been proven that it's recession proof. So I went to school. While I was in school, I realized early on that standing behind the chair every day, doing everyday hairstyles wasn't for me. I knew I was going to get bored with it. And so I didn't even get a chance to get out of school before I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, my attention span is too short. And what's funny is I did the competition in hair school, and I broke the rules. I don't know if I knew I was breaking the rules, but knowing me, I probably did. Child. And I think I got like third place or second place, something like that. And so fast forward, I tried and failed working in the salons. They teach us in school about stay bored. They teach us some of the styling, but they don't really teach us business. That chapter and pivot point is all too short. So I tried and failed. And then when my son was in like kindergarten or first grade, I was like, you know what? I really want to focus on kids. So when we fast forward, I started tutus and tennis shoes, and I was renting a booth in somebody else's salon. And I realized there wasn't a good fit. But also in that time, an adoptive family found me and brought their child in. And then I don't know which one of them told, but one of them told. And then all of a sudden I started having a bunch of transracially adoptive families coming in. So I say that they found me, because originally I was just focusing on having a salon space for little girls. I didn't realize how much little girls in predominantly white families and white communities needed me or needed us. And so once they found me, I started listening more to them, listening to their needs, listening to what things they talk about, what things they don't talk about, how they talk about it, and really started tuning in. So I decided that that's where I wanted to focus. There was a gap in between the white and black community, and those kids were falling in that gap. And I felt like I wanted to stand in place and be something for them that I wish I had had growing up. And so it started off as brick and mortar. After I left the salon that I was not a good fit in, I got my own space. I failed again. I lost my salon, but my community of families that had been coming to me, and at this point I had started teaching online, and it was really janky. It was so janky, but the families that were learning from me, they didn't let me just give up. When I was going through it, even though they didn't know right off the bat what was going on, they sent a lot of encouraging messages. They prayed, they sent money. They were that safety net and that village that I needed, and I didn't even know I needed. And so now more than ever, I'm in. I can't. I've failed now, like officially twice. I've completely have fallen down, and I'm just like, well, tutus is still going. So that's what has gotten me to this place now. And so now that it's pretty much all online, especially now that we're in quarantine or should be completely quarantined, whatever, somewhere in between, this pandemic. I pretty much teach all online. Summers I used to do like a hair care tour, but of course this summer I couldn't. So I had to upgrade my class so it wasn't janky anymore. And so now it's on demand. And any parent can take it. They can take it at any time. They get a year with the material. They get a one-on-one with me, and they get 3 months free in a support group. So that way, I feel like I can't, like they can't fail. I can. In any skill, you're going to need to practice. And learning hair, especially hair of a different, and you're learning a whole new culture, and more than likely the child is new in your home too. I feel like they needed some extra steps, and just like, oh, here, watch this video, and then do this, So right. I try to be their village, and now we are a village.
Sweet. What Michelle, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like what are your plans? I know you had the luxury silk scarf and pillowcase line. I'm going to put that up too, so make sure you guys go by.
Oh, thank you. So in the next 5 years, so I've actually cut back my days at the salon. I'm not there as many days. I'm there about 3 days out the week. So as we progress with the scarves and just more into retailing more items, I want to push more into that area. Still having the salon and just being able to grow in that area, but mostly pushing behind the scarves.
Okay.
And pillowcases.
Kenisha, where are you trying to go? What's your goal, your 5-year plan?
First of all, I got so many ideas. So I do have a product line with the business. Behind the scenes, I'm looking forward to moving the product line fulfillment out of my house to another single parent, preferably. So I want to really be able to offer more opportunities to us. And so I'm trying to move in that direction. But of course, I got to get the process completely, down pat so that it's a little janky now. Janky. So I want to grow that part of the business. I also have an idea with the marketing for that to also bring more women and more parents into the fold. And in that instance, reaching out to, so in the adoption community, a lot of times these families are in basically ethnic deserts. They are out there in Whiteville. Some of them are in the Midwest on farms. They don't really see a lot of people. Well, when I do the hair care tour, I have to go to these places. And I'm like, y'all could do this yourself. So, I want to get it to a point where the parents are teaching other parents about the product line and in the basics, but then also have a network of hairstylists that they have to go to not only just for hair care, but their child needs that experience. They need to be taken out of that desert where they don't see anybody that looks like them. So I'm really working on getting the parts of tutus that's already going now more in a system so that I can work on these new parts where I'm bringing in more community and seeing it reach a little bit further and really involving more moms like me.
And stop saying it's janky. It's not janky. First of all, that's the beauty of being online, though. Like, you could be whatever you want to be online. So nobody has to know it's janky unless you say
they watching and they're like, girl, I'm still waiting on my products. They already know. Like,
listen, large company.
Huh? You have room to grow.
Thank you. I have room to grow.
Large companies have delays. They don't have to know you don't have a fulfillment warehouse and all that. Listen, the warehouse is having some delays right now. And so
large companies are janky.
Yes.
They don't struggle. They on the struggle bus right now too. So you're right.
Here she goes. Struggle bus.
So the topic for today is good hair. We're going to talk about good hair versus bad hair. I know growing up, most of us have heard it. You have good hair, or she has good hair. Your kids are, some children have low self-esteem because of their hair. I just wanted to get into it and just talk about it. Like, what do you consider good hair a specific type of hair? What is good hair? Um, go. Who wants to go? Crystal, you made a comment about something about your daughters, and you had experience with that. You want to talk about that a little bit? They all have different hair
Yeah.
textures.
Yeah, I have four daughters and we all have different hair textures.
Wow.
And my one daughter, she's 16. Her texture is a very fine, loose curled, and everyone always compliments her and say, "Oh, you got good hair. Oh, I wish you had your hair." And she will tell you, "This is not good. It's a lot of work." Where they seem when they look at my other daughters who have a thicker, coarser hair, coarser curls, or my other daughter who has like a sandy brown. I don't know where she gets this brown color from, but whatever. It's brown and it's a totally different texture. And they always compliment my other daughter who has the finer texture hair and saying she has good hair, and they want to touch it. And I'm like, okay, first of all, no, don't touch her hair, and you don't even know what you're talking about, and don't say anything to her and or about her hair. And even she herself, like she has trouble, and we all have trouble doing our hair because she takes a different type of product. She can't have a whole lot of product on her hair. Her hair dries in less time. My hair takes a week to wash, 2 weeks to dry. God
Mhm.
forbid. I go through 15 combs, you know. My other daughter, you know, her hair, you know, she needs a ton of product. Her hair is very dry, very coarse. And when people seem to think that I do spend a lot of money on product for our hair, but going to the salon and having people do their hair, and they seem to think that my daughter, who they always compliment on going having good hair, she takes the less time in the salon. Her hair is really easy. You got it easy with her. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. So, for in your professional experience, ladies, is there a such thing as good hair? Like someone's hair is better than someone else's hair?
To
Healthy
me,
hair.
I was about to say, to me, healthy hair is good hair because you
Yeah.
can have the silkiest textured hair, but if it's broken off or eaten up, then
Yeah.
that's not good hair. A good head of hair is healthy hair all
Yeah,
day.
like you can have tight coils, which a lot of times doesn't get as much attention. You can have tight coils and it's 4C and it's not super shiny, but if it's healthy, I mean it's good hair to me. I love styling it just as much as I love styling 3A or 3B or whatever.
I
And
agree.
sometimes
I
for
do
me,
not like that chart. I do not like that chart. The 1A, 2B,
yeah.
4C. I'm a four triple Z. If you want to do go off the numbers. And even my daughters, like I tell them, your hair is good because it is healthy, it
Hmm.
is growing, it is on your scalp. You don't have alopecia.
Hmm.
You can
And
style it, you can blow dry it. And I also teach them how to take care of their hair with their different hair textures.
Hmm.
You know, my daughter who has thick, coarse hair, you need a deep condition. We need oils. Okay. I teach
Oil.
them the lock method. My other daughter who doesn't need a lot of product, I'm teaching her which product to buy for her hair to make it not so heavy. Because
Hmm.
even though her hair is more finer and the curls are looser, when it's heavy product on there, she's looking like a drowned rat.
Mm.
And I tell her, so don't tell nobody, don't let nobody say, "Oh, you got good hair."
Yeah,
You got yeah, because it's nice and healthy and bounces. Y'all see my hang time? See this?
I see it.
yes,
One
and
time now.
it's something beautiful about shrinkage. I mean, I tell you,
Right.
Mhm.
I had a client yesterday, and she showed me a picture of an afro that she wanted. It was like an afro. It was like a couple braids in the front, but it was like like a bush almost. And she came in, and her hair was fine, and her hair was much much silkier. And people would say she has heat damage in the front, but she doesn't even really put heat in her hair. It's just because the front of her hair was just silkier, naturally silkier. And we were trying to figure out the best way to get to that look. We ended up just kind of embracing her natural curl, and I just did like a twist out, so it wasn't an afro because her hair doesn't go straight to afro.
Hmm.
And we had a conversation about her growing up, and she was just saying how when she was younger, she really wished that she could pull off, like a really big look, and she never could. And she just talked about her disappointment in that. And I just
Wow.
think that it's kind of crazy when you talk about good hair and you say, oh, well, this is good hair versus that. And I think that everyone has their struggles with their hair. And I also believe that these days, which is a beautiful thing, more and more women are embracing their natural, embracing what God gave them. Just kind
Mhm.
of, a lot of people have done a big chop. I chopped all mine off. I didn't even know the middle of my hair was straight. It's naturally straight.
Mhm.
I have not had any hair, any heat in my hair, like, ever, and it just grows straight up. But I've always hated getting my hair combed and all of that stuff because my hair has just always been super thick, super
Mhm.
coarse. And I growing up, I hated it. I hated how thick it was. I hated when somebody combed it. I was tender headed, but just embracing it now and just kind of seeing how it grows in. I used to relax my edges all the time because they would not lay. And just going natural, I like the way it grows out my scalp now. I can embrace it. And can't nobody tell me I don't have good hair. You know,
Right.
at this point. But if anyone would have ever thought to say that to me, I would have just looked them in their face and said, "Why are you trying to play me? Why are you lying to me?" Because
But you know
that's not
what?
who I
When you, a lot of us when we were younger though, and even adults too, your hair is a big part of your self esteem. And believe
am.
it or not, I have adults who want to get locks,
Mm-hmm.
and they have said, I mean, the people in the office are going to laugh at me. I can't, like, doing the big top is one thing, and especially if you have
Right.
coarse hair, you have an afro, that's cute, and you can pull that off. But you put those coils in there, or those two strand twists, and you're looking at your scalp, and your hair is coming up here. That's a big deal. You'd be surprised how many adult women are still having self-esteem issues
Mhm.
about their hair. So it's deeper than just, well, who has good hair, or my hair is bad hair. I want to just talk about that a little bit. Have any of you ever experienced anything like that when you were younger, that you feel as though may have affected your self-esteem up until now? Because right now, everything is pretty much in chocolate women, locks, afros, all the things that, you know what I mean, were kind of an issue, I would say. Like everything is cool. If you're chocolate, if you're caramel, if you're vanilla, if you're like everything is fine now. But it was a time when
It
you got
wasn't.
talked about for everything.
Right.
Everything's cool in more progressive states. So because I just lived in Iowa for too long, in my opinion, but it was about 4 or 5 years. Everything's not cool still in the Midwest and different places in the Midwest. I was in what's considered a city in Iowa. So unfortunately, there's still some of us in these smaller cities or middle states where even though you do see it more online or you see it more on the TV and pictures or whatever, it's still not thought of to be okay, and that's sad. For instance, when I moved around a lot, but part of my childhood when I was in Missouri. So, like, let's say for one summer when I was in Missouri, my mom sent me up there, and before I left, she had my hair cornrowed because I had long, thick hair, and she figured it'd be easier on my cousins if my hair was cornrowed. The very first Sunday, my cousin's mom took my hair out of the cornrows because they weren't good enough. Like that wasn't acceptable for going to church.
Mm.
So I had to have my hair taken out, and I think she pressed it even middle of the summer. Like, how long did you think that press was gonna last on the 7-year-old? It didn't. It didn't, and she was quite upset with me. But her daughter, so my cousin's wife, it's interesting. She didn't know what her hair texture looks like until she was pregnant with her first child, and she finally stopped getting relaxers because since she was a child, either somebody had been pressing her hair or she was going to the salon every weekend to have her hair done. And so, there's a bunch of us that are still having some internal issues with our own hair. Even myself, like, because I had people tell me when I was younger that my hair was too thick. It was, when I was really young, it was too long. It was it was always a problem. It was always a challenge. And then when I got to be an adult, I tried to get my hair pressed with some of my friends, and like their aunties would heat damage my hair because they felt like it needed extra heat to straighten, like just all kind of nonsense. And so even sometimes now, like wearing my fro, it's not as long as I would want it to be. And so I have some mental like Olympics I have to go through to be like, you look fine, like going out the house. You don't need, you don't need your extensions. You don't need to tie it back. You don't need to do anything. Is it healthy? Does it look like you have done some moisture, or something to it? Then go on. So it's real.
Now, have you had any experiences with that?
I think you know what I'm sitting here shaking my head because I think that we've all had those experiences. I don't like hair. Right now, my daughter is a beautician, so hair has always been a real big thing for her. But I remember the first time I cut my hair. I think it may have been like 20 years ago. And I went from having really long hair to long processed, pressed, permed hair to a big chop. A friend of mine was a 5%er. I had met my husband. Everybody was doing the natural thing, just talking about the chemicals and the damage, with processed hair. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go through this journey. So oftentimes I would wear a lot of pushed out, braid out styles, but I had too much, like you said, heat damage at the ends. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't really the look that I wanted. And not in addition to that, I wanted healthier hair. I don't do the good hair thing in my house. We don't even use it as a term. Like our hair is
Mhm.
good hair, natural hair is good hair. I do what I want to do. If I want to throw a weave in, I do that. That's good to me. If I want to, throw crochet in, I do that. That's good to me. I don't let other people place their ideologies on what I feel like doing with my hair.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that comes with, like you said, those mental Olympics. It took a while for me to get to that space because the very first time I cut my hair, and it was like all this face and what I thought was a big forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes I'm much more feminine now, I think, than I was when I was younger. So I feel like I had to make an effort to be more feminine. I don't really like makeup, but at that time I was like, I gotta throw this lipstick on. Like I felt like I was less feminine because I had short hair the first.
Mm-hmm.
But then I grew my locks out. I love my locks. They grew them out. They were wonderful. Then I wanted to be short again. So for me, I like the versatility of just doing whatever I want to do with my hair. Thank God for growth because 20 years later, I'm really just comfortable, with my hair, period. I'm trying to do different things. So I might have uncomfortable moments. Like right now, I really want to kind of cut my hair because the freedom and the liberation of just a baldy to me was everything. But
Mhm.
my TWAs, I love them whether they're just straight, whether they're twisted, whether it's a bantu knot out, whatever it is, I try to embrace it. I have two daughters. One is a beautician; she's all into hair, and then my youngest daughter, she really doesn't care. So for me, as long as you're taking care of your hair, um, then I'm good with it. Just teaching our young people to be comfortable in the skin that they're in. Men
Yeah.
go through it too. I think somebody said they child has sandy blonde hair. I got a real light son with green eyes with sandy blonde hair, and they think that everything is good about him. And then I got a brown skinned child whom I love so much with locks. You know what I mean? And light brown eyes. So just teaching us to at first just love ourselves unconditionally. Like
Yeah.
that's where it begins, like your foundation. And I'm blessed because my dad like instilled that in me real early on. So even though maybe having those relationships with my friends, I might have been influenced. I came home to a man that told me I was everything, like every day. So
Right.
that helped me
Mhm.
with my self esteem. Kanisha, I wanted to just comment on what it is that you're doing because coming from a social work background, I think that it's so important. And I serve on the board of an organization, a wonderful organization called Daddy University. And all about male caregiver involvement and just, you know, understanding and advocating for the importance of bringing our men into our family structures.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we've done, and Joel has done in the past, is talk about the importance of not just particularly in the foster care system and in the child welfare system, men becoming single family, providers and single parent fathers for their children. And it's oftentimes of them brothers being there struggling,
Mhm.
how to do their daughter's hair. And I
Yeah.
remember a couple of years ago, my husband went to one of the conventions or the conferences that was had there, and one of the workshop was about hair care. And I was pleased because as a result, my husband came home and he did my daughter's hair. And I was
Oh.
so
That's sweet.
when we're talking about just providing needs that are so important to our girls and our boys, that are so important to our society, and people, it's something like hair for me is simple, but hair for somebody else is not. So we have to be able
Right.
to, meet people where they are everywhere. And I just want to commend you for continuing to do that. And hopefully, I can inform some other my colleagues about what it is that you're doing and connect them to you because I have a large social work field, family field, and I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody is going to be like, "What's going on with Kanisha?" Because it's just so great. So stay encouraged and please continue to do it. But I just wanted to say that before I forgot.
Well, thank you. I
You're
appreciate that
welcome.
You
so much. Thank you.
know,
You're
I
welcome.
want to quickly piggyback off of that too, because when you were saying your intro, Kanisha, I was just sitting there. I had muted myself, but I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I really, really, really admire what you're doing too. There, that is something that, it's just one of those things where we need to know that our hair is beautiful no matter what. And when you don't look like the people around you, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard. It's hard.
Mhm.
So,
And
yeah.
then if you can't even figure you out, it's really hard to love yourself. So the fact that you have that platform, I think is amazing. And I want you to grow as huge as you possibly can be, because I think I do think that that platform is so well needed.
And
Thank
that's,
you.
besties, we want to connect people that can help grow each other's businesses. That's part of our mission. And I mean, you're a hairstylist, you have a large following and reach, and Kanisha ultimately said that she wants to have other hairstylists, and maybe you can reach out to some of your connects. Let's
I
network.
could
Naima
definitely
says
help with that.
expand your network, sis. That's what she says. That's her line. So that's what we want to do. I want to talk about one more thing. I want to talk about relaxers. There's like a heated debate going on. People talk about it all the time. In the natural community, relaxers are bad. They cause cancer. But then you have some people saying, hey, you can do relaxers safe and healthy and your hair is fine. I know people that have been getting relaxers since I was a kid, and they're, in their 50s and 60s, and their hair is healthy and fine. So I know, Kanisha, you dealing with children and their hair is natural. And then Michelle, you do it all, the weaves, the relaxers, and all those kind of things. Like, just what's your take on that? Especially, children with coarse hair, relaxers for adults. Like, let's just talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Okay. So for me, I do carry relaxers in the salon. We have them. We have relaxer. Um, to get a relaxer from me, you're pretty much going to have to argue a whole case. Um, I feel like it's my duty when someone comes in a salon, if they ask for a relaxer, it's my duty to find a way to talk them out of it. Um, and the only time I do fold where like you might get a relaxer is if you have really short hair and you want like, a certain look that you kind of can't really get. Or you can there's so many styles that like I figured out how to do pretty much every hairstyle natural. But there are some women who are like, look, I'm going to be sweating, or I'm going to be in a gym, and I just want something just back here, things like that. I'll fold for small amounts of relaxer. And then the only other time I'll give someone with like long hair relaxer is if they came from out of town. We get a lot of out of towners, but if they come from out of town and this is their normal routine and they're going back home in a little bit, then I'll give it to them, because it's kind of like I'm not going to be around enough to take care of their natural hair. And
Mhm.
that's pretty much it, because outside of that, you're gonna have to fight me tooth and nail to get a relaxer from me.
In my case, in the very beginning of Tutus in its own space, I remember there was a client who asked me for a relaxer for her daughter. And I tried to get around it, whatever, and I caved, and I regret that. And after that little girl, I threw all relaxers out. Now you don't have the option with me. You can go somewhere else, and I don't mind giving up that money, but you don't have that option with me. Because especially with the clients that I work with, they are already in spaces where people look like them. And so you're going to put a relaxer in their hair. A lot of times white parents are misinformed. Somehow they think that if I put this relaxer in her hair, then her hair is going to behave just like mine. And now it's easy to take care of, and I don't have to stress out about learning to take care of her hair. That is the absolute lie. Like, I don't know who's sending this memo out, but it's so wrong. So that's one reason that, I'm like, nope, relaxers off the table. Now what? The other reason is the little girl's self-esteem. Again, my cousin in an all black family, all black community didn't know what her hair looked like until she was an adult getting ready to give birth. These kids are in neighborhoods where nothing looks like them, and now you want to put a relaxer in. They never get a chance to build a strong sense of themselves, a strong sense of self-esteem. And so one of the biggest things with my business is that's what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating not only do they learn how to take care of that child's hair, but they learn how to feed into them and they understand what the world looks like from the black child's point of view, and that they have to go above and beyond to reinforce positive images of blackness. And so putting a relaxer in their hair is counterintuitive of that. And so it's not an option. I mean, in my class, I teach the science behind it, like what bonds it breaks or whatever, just so they know. And everybody learns differently, and some people are stubborn. So maybe they need to hear what the pH is to understand why it's a no, because they didn't quite get the cultural relevance yet. Maybe they're one of those ones that don't see color, whatever. I try to hit it from both sides so that if they're one of the ones that don't see color, if I catch them on the science, and I can catch them on the culture a little later on. So that's that's what it is for me.
Okay. And Michelle, just want to talk about some of the things that you guys have done. Want to highlight you guys a little bit more because you guys are really trying to be humble. So, you've done editorial work, you've done fashion weeks, you've done celebrity hairstyles, you're doing weddings. You had a feature in the Knot magazine. What advice do you have? See, I be watching. You don't think I be watching? I watch everybody. So, what advice do you have for a young stylist or even a seasoned stylist who maybe wants to switch paths or who wants to go down that lane, do something different from behind the chair?
Okay, so if you are a stylist, you can be a new stylist or even a stylist now. If you want to do something different, if you want to do editorial, I would say start working with a photographer. Start creating what you want. I think 50 Cent said it, and I don't know what I'm quoting, but he said, dress like the career. He said, dress like the career you want.
Right.
So it's kind of like the same thing. So if it's something that you want to be doing, then start at it. Even if you're doing it on your own, start building a team, start networking, and letting people know what you want to do, and work at your craft. So if it's something that you feel like, if you want to be an editorial stylist, start researching editorial looks, um start working on it, start practicing it, and start working with other people who are looking to grow also, because you guys can be a team and network, and you can come up together, and then your network will actually help you get into those doors. Also, actively look for people who are searching for someone that's like to be on their team. So if you want to do like fashion week, you want to pay attention to there are groups on Facebook, editorial groups, where they're looking for they might be looking for models. Contact the people who are looking for models. They may need a hairstylist. But they're just kind of, so my main piece of advice is, when it comes to anything that you want to do that's outside of your current lane, is to stay ready for it. So something could come up tomorrow. Go, like, figure out how you can go, have a separate kit so that you can just grab your bag and just go, because things come and they come fast, and opportunities come fast, and sometimes you really never know what you're going to get. You don't know. Somebody can invite you somewhere, and it could be celebrities there, and you didn't even know that that's what they invited you to. But you have to bring your A game, because those connections can take you far.
Awesome. And Kanisha, and I don't know if these are subscription boxes or not, but you have like your products in this cute box that you're sending out. And then you were doing the classes for the parents. She has
Yeah.
a group for the parents where she was like, she goes in lives and does the training. So I mean, again, you kind of didn't big yourself up like you should have, because you have a lot going on and your vision is so big. So, I mean, what advice do you have for someone? Because I'm sure there's somebody else out there who may have an interest in doing something like that. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to find the parents. Um, just some advice for somebody that wants to do something different, create a business, step outside of the box, and then also I meant to ask you, Michelle, too. But Kenesha, tell them how they can contact you, and then we'll go back to Michelle.
Okay. Well, I wanted to piggyback off Michelle with the editorial. So when I got started in cosmetology, I wanted to be a platform artist. Didn't know how to do that. So I started doing like photo shoots and fashion shows. And some of the ways that I found events was like I was on Model Mayhem as a hairstylist, but then I would also inbox or message the models and say, hey, if you have any projects coming up, and you want a hairstylist, please contact me. And, a lot of times you were doing stuff for free. So you need to learn how to budget your money or learn how to eat real cheap or whatever. But it did work out because I had a really great portfolio during that time. And I met a lot of people and I got some, paid jobs, and I was in some magazines and all this stuff that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been willing to throw myself out there. And to the point that you made about your kit. So I actually had a toolbox, like it was on wheels, a toolbox from the hardware store. I had two of them. And so when you said that, it just brought back like all those memories of like the stuff that I had to do. So I was ready, because you never, especially in theater, it's chaotic a lot of times. People would, so you never know when you're going to get that call, and you got to be ready. You got to be able to show up at theater, be there on time, kind of learn the lingo. So anybody that's, coming out of school and maybe want to do that, start looking for other people who are in that industry, even if you don't think that it has anything to do with you. So look for the models, start looking at the credits at the end of fashion shows, at the end of movies, and learn those people's names and start looking at what they did and see if you can connect doing that way. Be an assistant in a high-end salon. That's another way. I was an assistant, and I got paid like $6 a shampoo or something. But the woman who owned that salon is still a mentor to this day. She works movie sets in Atlanta now. So you never know what your network's going to bring. Just be willing to put yourself out there and go for it. So that was that.
Before you, I just wanted to, that was a good point. I worked at a salon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was an all natural hair salon. And she did makeup for plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't a part of that. I did locks, and that's what I did, right? So she got sick, and somebody comes knocking on the door like, Blank said you have to go, you have to go to the play and do the makeup. Now, mind you, she didn't do regular makeup. We had to do like a black eye, a busted nose makeup, and I'm sitting there like, and if you guys know Khadija, I'm like as natural as they come. Like I'm lip gloss and maybe mascara, and I'm looking like, oh my god! So there's this huge kit with all this makeup. I had to do like a fake scar, and the girl, she's like, I'm gonna help you, but I was still like, oh my god, freaking out on my mom. But like you said, stay ready. I had no idea, but I was working in that atmosphere, and they had all this stuff going on, but I just had tunnel vision. I just wanted to do locks. So I was happy, minding my business, and then here comes a knock at the door, and here I am doing black eyes and scars with, I think it was like weave glue or something, and we're painting over it, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. But that was a very good point, the mentor, and like Michelle said, stay ready. Like I literally was like, okay, you know what, like shaking in my boots, but I was like, oh well, I'm gonna do it.
As a Black stylist, when we go to school, we are taught to do everybody's hair. When you go on set, it's usually a white stylist because they give them the benefit of the doubt, and they can only do white hair. And typically, it's only white hair that looks like hair. Don't let it be a white girl with a little bit of curl. They're lost. They cannot do the editorial styles. So if you stay ready, even if you're only there as somebody's assistant, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get an opportunity to step above that, because the other stylists, they're always, used to staying in their little bubble, and it's a little two-step thing. So again, just stuff, be ready.
Don't be afraid, because that opportunity with Fashion Week, I had always seen it, but I was like, I'm not good enough. And so Michelle was sitting there in the salon, and she's like, I think you were like bored. I don't know. I don't want to do, she wanted to do something else. She didn't know what to do. And me, I'm always full of ideas. I'm like, girl, If you don't go to Fashion Week, you'll be perfect. Like you can do this. And I'm sitting picturing her, you know, Fashion Week in Paris and Milan. Like I just like went big in my mind. I'm like, girl, go down there and do it. And from that, like, all these opportunities grow. So that's just awesome. It's just an awesome thing. I love hair and being creative. I actually kind of lost my spark for it a little bit. I want to do something different in the industry. But I just think it's awesome. Stay ready. And find a good mentor.
Mm-hmm. Even if you can't like physically get in contact with that mentor, get you a mentor that you can learn a lot about them. I mean, we got internet now, so you can almost be, like a stalker, but in a good way. Learn their stories, learn what they went through, learn where they started, some of their challenges. Like when I had to change my mindset from a poverty mindset to a wealthy mindset, right? But everybody around me was still in poverty. Nobody else knew how to get past where we were, where we barely making money. We're always struggling. We talk about how we always struggling. That was the norm. And I'm like, this is for the birds. I didn't have anybody wealthy around me, but what I did have was access to the internet. So then I started listening to people who built their wealth and what techniques they used and what, just their stories. Like what happened when they failed? What did they think about when they failed? What did they study? What did they read? How did they live? What did they dress like? Those type of things. So if you don't have an actual physical mentor in front of you, or you feel like your community is too small or whatever it might be, you have the internet. Like you really have the world at your fingertips. Use it. If you don't have anything but your phone, use it for something other than looking at social media in a destructive way. Curate your news feed. Put only the business groups, only people who are entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if they're in the same industry as you. Curate your newsfeed so that's what you see all day versus the videos of people fighting or the news or whatever that's depressing you, so you can move out of that mental space.
That's awesome advice.
Because I'm trying to like and push hearts and stuff like that with everything that you guys are saying, and I can't for my head. I'm just like liking everything.
So how can they contact you guys? What do you want them to do? Let's do a call to action. Buy some scarves, buy some products, take some classes. What are we doing, guys?
So I want my following to buy some scarves and some satin pillowcases because they often ask me where can they get them from? And the typical answer is like Amazon. Like other than that, Tuesday morning, little shops like that. Like I don't have a Black distributor right now to send them to. So if they're watching or they watching this later, I want to buy from you. That's call to action.
And the website is getbounce.co, right?
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, that's what made me create it. It's just that I've been doing here for 20 years, and I've sent clients to get a silk scarf, silk pillowcases, like all of the above, and it's like, well, where does it exist? And it didn't really exist anywhere. You could find some stuff here and there, but I couldn't hardly find anybody that did this or even cared about the companies that cared about Black women's hair, and outside of like bonnets and scarves, but the actual pillowcase. What about the women who don't want to put a scarf on at night? The women who sweat because and then cotton. It just seems to break your hair so quickly because it wraps you up in moisture. We need moisture. So yes, buy scarves, Bouncedolls.co. I'm sorry, getbounce.co. Bouncedolls is the salon.
Getbounce.co, and then we have tutus, tennis shoes, get your products. Can they sign up? Are you still doing the classes for the parents now?
So yeah, the classes are actually on demand. They can sign up at any time. The older classes, they had to wait until I was running them, but now they are available at any time. Aside from the classes just for the parents, we have a premium class, and that one includes, it's a higher dollar. That one includes the one-on-one and the support. But if that isn't in their budget right now and they don't want to do the payment plan because the payment plan is available, then they can do the light version where it's just the education. They come with principles. So I'm trying to catch all learning styles. So not only do you have the videos, you also have the principles. You also have the checklist if you need something to go to the beauty supply store with. or to go online or whatever. So you have a checklist. Tools, I walk you through like what tools you need. If you're not ready to take the class, but you still need some tidbits, then you can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. I just started a TikTok. I don't really know how to use it, but there's some things out there. And then the YouTube also has all my 60-second video editions, which are like 60 seconds of like hair care tips. So I can kind of get you started if you follow the social media, but the best bet is to go ahead and take the class. The other thing is, little known fact, there's an agency class. So if you can get your agency, depending on what adoption agency you went through or DHS or whatever, if you can get your agency to do the subscription, then that has unlimited enrollees. So it's one price per month with unlimited amount of students. If you do it the other way, then that price is for your family for a whole year. If that makes sense.
Yep, that's awesome. And then I'll let Naima do it. Naima, you can wrap. Well, Crystal, do you have a comment about hair, good hair, silk scarves, the kitties? What you want to say?
She's on mute.
She's on mute. Crystal is our in-house comedian. Go ahead, Crystal. We still can't hear you.
She been having technical difficulties.
No,
I can read that. You said, why can't you hear me?
It's raining.
It's raining.
Raining. Okay.
Now, 3 syllables, 1 word. What?
JoinBesties.com. Join our VIP group. Crystal, get your sound together. Naima's going to do the rap, and then hopefully you let us know we can hear you.
So I'm always nervous because every time you say Naima's going to do the rap, I'm always thinking that you put me on the spot to like literally do a rap.
I mean, I probably will if you don't stop playing with me, but it's not this time, not yet.
All right, I don't even know what to say. I'm just in awe right now. I have all of these ideas in my head just about ways that I'm going to connect so many people to our wonderful celebrity stylists that are creating all kind of ways for us to stay beautiful and stay educated about our beauty, promote awareness about our beauty, and keep us connected as well. So share this information. We thank you ladies for joining us tonight. I'm just in awe. I'm still full. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the session because just the energy that you guys exuded when you were talking about your work, your life's work, I've received it. And I'm sure everybody else that's listening or watching, they received it as well. So thank you ladies for joining us. Stay full on your mission because like Khadija said, she sees and we are watching you. I can't wait to support. We can't wait for you guys to just have everything that you manifested, those millions. I like what Kanisha said about your mind manifesting, having a wealthy mindset. So that's what we're all about, right? A wealthy and positive mindset. Join Besties, join our VIP membership, join at www.joinbesties.com. Stay connected to us, stay tuned, and we'll see you all in the forward.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Thanks, ladies.
Night.
Good night.